Hey everyone, it's Matt from Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews. About 2 years ago, in 2019, and before the pandemic struck, we were able to take a trip out to Seattle, Washington, and board Ovation of the Seas and take a cruise up to Alaska. This was two firsts for me. One, I'd never done an Alaskan itinerary, really excited about that, but also never been on Ovation of the Seas. While looking back on that trip, I wanted to give you all what I thought were my top 3 favorite things that we did during that cruise and why we'd love to go back and do it again. So, with that in mind, let's get to it. So number 1 of our top 3 things that we did on our Alaskan cruise was our helicopter ride. So we stopped in Juneau, Alaska, which is Alaska's capital, by the way. We booked this trip directly with the tour company and not through Royal Caribbean Excursions. A quick walk from the ship, we found the tour company representative, boarded a bus, and about 10 minutes later, we were at the heliport. After that, we had a quick safety instruction, an overview of the trip. They also gave us some booties to put over our shoes that would give us better traction on the ice later on in the trip. From there, our pilot took us out to our helicopter, and we quickly got into the skies. We were quickly up over the mountains around Juneau, and the scenery was incredible. Being from the East Coast, I don't really get to see real mountains that often. I mean, we have mountains out there, but nothing like these. And the landscape was unbelievable. I mean, just look at these views. We then flew into a valley and towards our glacier. Our pilot took us to a glacier that they hadn't been able to land on for a while, but that day it was perfect conditions to do so. But many of the other tour helicopters went to another glacier. I knew the names at the time, I can't remember the names now, but we landed on our glacier and it was like we had the entire thing to ourselves, which is really cool. So we were able to walk around, check out the scenery, take pictures, try not to slide on the ice. Those booties actually worked really well, gave us a lot of traction. Our helicopter pilot, walked around with us, provided a lot of information, and then showed us how to get down on the ice and get some of the really clear blue glacier water to drink. As you can see here, Rebecca even did some push-ups while getting her drink of the glacier water. So it was really clear, really fresh. I mean, it was so fresh, you could barely taste it. So really, really clear and refreshing. So after everyone was finished checking out the glacier, I can't remember how much time it was, probably about 20 minutes we were on the ground, 15, 20 minutes. But we then boarded our helicopter and flew back to the heliport. Of course, we took in the incredible views again, as you can see here on our way back also. So I just gotta say, taking the helicopter tour and landing on a glacier, I mean, what an incredible experience. I mean, if you're ever on an Alaskan cruise, I completely recommend you trying this out. Along the same lines, number 2 was actually a ride on a train. We also had a stop in Skagway, Alaska. Here we had an excursion on the White Pass Railroad. We boarded the train near the ship. It was an old-time train with comfortable but rustic cars that made you feel like you were back in the 1800s. The train then traveled up into the mountains. So again, the scenery was incredible and provided, a different perspective as we were traveling along the side of a mountain, or many mountains, rather than in the air. So beautiful mountains, forests, streams, they all surrounded us as the train slowly climbed and climbed. You could sit in your seat the entire time, but you could also step outside to the end of the car and take in the scenery and get great photos, is what I tried to do. We passed landmarks such as Bridal Veil Falls, Inspiration Point, and Dead Horse Gulch. You could even see the Klondike Trail worn into the side of the trail by miners in the 1800s. As you can see here, there were some old original bridges that the trains did not use anymore, and for good reason, as you can see. When we got to the top, the train made a U-turn and we traveled back down the way we came. It was almost like a new trip, seeing everything from a different angle or from a different side of the track. once we got back down to the bottom and into town, a great ride came to an end. We'll go down a slightly different path with number 3. But number 3 favorite thing was the crab legs. So when you're in Alaska, you've got to eat the crab legs. I mean, we tried on every stop on this trip to get the local crab legs. And, while some were better than others, and I'll let you figure that out for yourselves, where, which places are better from your opinion. I mean, they were all great, honestly. I mean, these things were huge, as you can see here, and they're tender, and, I think they, had cut the shells so you could easily open them up and get to the crab. Just delicious, fresh, all of that. So, and it also, just gotta say, so much better than the king crab that we get out here on the East Coast, frozen, shipped across the country. It wasn't cheap, I have to say, but it's totally worth it. So if you head out on an Alaskan cruise, make sure you try out the crab legs at the different stops. Our Alaskan cruise was so great, I couldn't leave it at just 3. So we're gonna give you a bonus item. And that bonus favorite was our ship. So we were on Ovation of the Seas, and just a really great ship. We had been on Quantum and Anthem previously, so we're really familiar with the Quantum class of ships. And Ovation really was very similar in most ways to Quantum and Anthem. But it was also new to us, and we love trying new ships. Another great advantage of going on that ship in Alaska was they have a nice large size indoor pool, which Ryan really enjoyed when we were on the ship and on sea days. So that was a great thing to have. I also found myself really drawn on Ovation to the artwork. And it's interesting because I'm not a huge art connoisseur, but I found myself taking photos over the entire ship of various pieces that they had. So these were a few of the shots I took. I hope you enjoy them. But really enjoyed Ovation of the Seas. Well, I hope you enjoyed our top 3 and a bonus item of our favorite things that we did while on our Alaskan cruise. It was a great trip. Completely recommend that itinerary for anyone. If you have any questions about it, let us know in the comments below. In the meantime, if you did like it, please hit the like button. It really helps us out. Also, check out the rest of the channel and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the latest content. That's it for today. This is Matt from Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews. Happy cruising, everyone.